Vox is a popular channel that's generating millions of views every month, and no wonder why. Their videos consist of engaging animations that follow the story, and in this video we will cover how to recreate these two animated graphs from the Vox video.
Production skyrocketed. The country now exports $2 billion.
The first one is called a line graph, which can be used to show some sort of trend, and this bar chart can be used to show the distribution of data, which is an essential part of data analytics. We will be using Adobe After Effects, and all the elements that are used in this video can be found in the description. So without further ado, let's begin. Inside Adobe After Effects, I'm going to create a new composition by clicking here, and for width, we're going to type 1080 by 1920, and for frame rate, set it to 24 frames per second, and duration is around 5 seconds, and then click OK. Now, these dimensions are for a short video because we're going to create the similar one to the Vox. So to start off, I'm going to select my pen tool and create a straight line. So when you create a first anchor point by holding Shift, you can create a straight line. Now we're going to change show color to this grayish one. I'm going to create a new rectangle and increase opacity to 100% and change the fill color to, let's say, this orange-ish color, and place it below this straight line. Select the shape layer, and here in align, select align horizontally, and here in stroke width, I'm going to decrease it to 4. And now here in view, make sure that you have grid available, and below show grid, snap to grid, because this will help us align these graph lines so they have even space between them. So first I'm going to zoom in even more, and let's snap it to this line here. Now I'm going to copy it and paste it. And now let's create this much space here. So 3 squares, and let's do that again. So I'm going to copy it one more time and paste it and place it here. Now, if we remove grid, you'll have these lines here. Now I'm going to zoom in even more, and first we're going to place the values. So for X and Y axis, so for Y axis we're going to create a text box here and type, for example, 30M, and here in character I'm going to decrease the word size to, let's say, this amount here, and we're going to change the fill color to this one over here. And now I'm going to go here and again show grid, and let's snap these words to the same line as we did for the graph line. So here is 30 million. I'm going to make a copy 2 more times and place these copies like this and change the values to 20 and here to 10. You can use whatever font you want, but I'll use this authoring font, which you can find in the description. So I'm maybe going to decrease the size even more to, let's say, 35 pixels. And I'm going to repeat the process for both of these. So here, change it to authoring, and let's do that for here and authoring. Now let's add values to the X axis. So I'm going to again make a copy of this one here and move it. And here we're going to put 9070 for a year, and let's make a copy, let's say 3 more times, and let's move them so we have the same distance between each. Now let's change year on all of these. In the Vox example, we also have a title above this graph, so I'm going to type it here. Let's say Vox styled graph, and let's name it line graph because we're creating one right now, and I'm going to align it so we have an even distance, and I'm going to zoom in a bit more, and for this one we don't need a grid. So I'm going to again select a pen tool and create a first anchor point, and you need to draw it so you have this sort of crooked line, and let's change it to a yellow color so it is more visible. And I'm going to increase a bit more, or maybe let's change the color to red. Now I'm going to make sure that it is placed above all of these lines, so on top. And now open your transform arrow here, and here in add, select trim paths, and create a first end keyframe here and decrease to 0%. And at the 2-second mark, you can create another end keyframe and increase to 100%. Now, this part here determines how long your graph animation will be. If you want it 3 seconds, you can go here and move your anchor point here, but I will keep it at 2 seconds. Now, I'm going to select these keyframes and press F9 in order to turn them into easy ease. And I'm going to select this and transform and open graph editor. And here I'm going to adjust this graph. So I'm going to select this start anchor point, and by holding shift, I'm going to adjust this angle hand a bit. So we have this sort of graph. And what will this do is I'm going to show you right now. So as you can see, we have this glitch here. So what I forgot to mention is if your fill color is at opacity 100%, make sure that you remove the fill color. So I'm going to go here in effects and presets and type posterize time and apply it on this crooked line. And you should keep it at between 8 and 12 frames per second. So I'm going to show you both of these examples. So let's first type here 8 and I'm going to show you. And now if we type here 12, you can see the difference. You can also type here 16 if you want to. Now in the example of Vox graph, they also animated their titles. So I'm going to also show you how to do that. So here select this title and find it on your timeline. And here create a new mask, open, and here create a mask path keyframe. Let's say at this point here, and the title animation shouldn't last long. So I'm going to create another keyframe here. So this is the final position. And at this point, well, make sure you select your mask path, and like doing this, you will create this mask position for this keyframe here. Now select these keyframes and press F9 in order to turn them into easy ease. And you can also play with the speed graph like this. And you can also apply posterize time and set it to, let's say, 10. And let's see so far what we have made. Now, this is the line graph, but in this video, I promised to show a bar graph. So I'm just going to toggle the vision of this shape layer here. And we're going to draw bars. So first for this one here, I'm going to draw a straight line again by holding shift, a straight line here, and increase stroke width to as much as you want. I'm going to keep it at 93 and make sure that you align this bar with the beginning y-axis. And now I'm going to make 3 more copies and let's align them. You can also use the grid that I showed you, and you'll need to create adjustments for all of these 3. So remember the 962 y value, and here in position, type it like this. What I would recommend for this specific bar graph is to move this bottom line above all of these bars so they don't interfere with the animation. Now let's animate all of these bars. So let's start with this one here. So again, the principle is same. Open trim paths and create a beginning end keyframe. And at the 1 second mark, let's increase it to 62. And you can change show color for this one if you want to emphasize it to, let's say, this bluish color. And we're going to keep all of the rest the same. So open trim paths. And what I would also recommend is create a certain gap between all of these animations. So at the 3rd frame, I'm going to open it and leave it at 81%, and here toggle it to 0. And I'm going to copy these values and repeat the process for the rest and make sure they are different. So we're going to lower it to 18% and this one to 72%. Now, if this is too smooth, you can also use posterized time on these bars, so let's try it also. So I'm going to set it to 10 frames per second and copy this effect and paste it on the rest of the bars. And now let's see the final result. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you want to support me, please leave a like and subscribe. And also check out the font in the description.